Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel. Hey, what is going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile Scala with the Pop XP, and it's Monday night, and we're doing a little special crowdfunding comics edition because there's just way too many campaigns out there, and we need to get them out. And joining me is a good friend of the channel. He's been a host on the channel. He's been presenting campaigns on the channel. We got Caleb Thusat joining us again tonight. Caleb, welcome.
What's going on, man? Good to be back.
Back again. As always. Back again for a second appearance in a while. It's been a while, but we got Raiden Radio in the house. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me. The longest day of the week is now over, so everything's looking up.
Fantastic, fantastic. So we've got some campaigns tonight. We had 3 guests. Maybe our third guest will pop in. He hasn't showed up yet, but we got 3 campaigns to look at tonight, which is great. But before we dive into it, I'd like to just chat with you guys a little bit on, how has crowdfunding been going for you? Since we're beyond, we're approaching the 4th quarter of 2023. How has your experience been thus far this year in crowdfunding? I'll start with you, Caleb.
So I've done 3 campaigns. Well, this is my 3rd one. The other 2 smooth, for the most part. This newest one's been a little slow, so not horribly slow for me, but a little slower than I anticipated. I think maybe we're deep in the issues right before the final issue, so it makes it a little more tricky. But just keep on kind of plugging away until it comes through. It's the same story with everyone else, unless you got that huge following that's ready to toss all in at the beginning. It gets a little tricky halfway through, so that's where I'm sitting. But yeah, I can't complain too much because I'm still raising the money, but it just seems just a little slower than I like.
Nice. And Raiden, how about you?
I mean, my situation is kind of unique because I've been trying to do new things that I haven't done before. New platforms, new formats, but I would say all things considered, for the price point that I'm offering, to just kind of offer people like a little bite-sized portion of the story in the form of an ash can, I'm pretty happy with the amount of people that have been, okay to either come along for the ride or new people who just want to check out the series. So I would say I agree it's slow, but at the same time, I have nothing but appreciation for the readers that I have. So, it's going to be slow going, and we'll get there in the end is kind of my philosophy.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Now, do you guys have anything planned? Caleb, is this your last campaign for 2023?
Yeah. I initially was planning on doing 3 Neverland issues this year, but I kind of changed gears and did something funky in the middle of the summer and did this short stories, bunch of crazy cool short stories thing in the summer, and kind of decided to do number 5. The ending of the Neverland story is going to hit in the spring of next year, and that's kind of like my big kickoff to the next year. But yeah, kind of winding down. I don't like to do them past October, really. So, this is like prime time. It really is prime time. There's a lot of good stuff on especially on Kickstarter right now. So,
Very cool. What about you, Raiden? Is this your last go at campaigns for the year, or do you have anything else up your sleeve?
I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to have anything else this year, but I'm going into back in the lab. I always have stories like on the back burner. I'm always working on something, but I kind of want to rededicate myself to getting more feedback and working more and kind of upping my game in terms of the artists that I work with. I basically want to deliver on. I want to make sure that my next campaign after this one is brand new, is a brand new IP, is really going to hit hard.
Oh, very cool, man. Well, when that goes, you got to hit us up. For
No
sure.
doubt.
But let's check out what you've got going on. So, Raiden, we're going to check out your campaign. So you've got a campaign up on Fund My Comic, which for some reason isn't loading up. What is going on here? Oh, geez. StreamYard. Not again. Hold on.
Yeah, I was actually one of the first people that kind of got the weird Indiegogo shadow ban.
Yep.
So it happened to so many people that I follow and I like that. For me, this was kind of a no-brainer, to take it off on to another platform. I know Luke. They've put together a killer page. It's really intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a community, I feel like I owe it to them to try and help build the platform. So that's kind of why I did this here.
Oh, very cool. So it's your new book, Listen. And this is now on. So this is on Fund My Comic. Links below for anyone that's interested. You've got 35 backers. You have 12 days to go on this campaign. Are you going to extend this campaign at all?
It is going to go into a shop. This is actually going to print this week. So
okay.
Campaign's not even done yet, but everything's good and ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So let's check out your campaign video, and then we'll dive into what you've got here. Gee, this is just all freaking... Hang on again. The StreamYard's acting up. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right. Now we can do it.
Listening to sounds in the space that's vacant, profound and deep underground as basements, and quiet is kept. What I found is sacred. A sage said, "Silence is the sounds of patience." Listen, 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 listen. Listen.
All right. You got some, that's incredible art in this book.
I was going to say, that's great art and great coloring. Looks fantastic.
The incomparable Kanan White.
Yeah. Wow. It's incredible. So now this is the second book in this series, right?
Yeah, so the first book, NOIRLEM, was published by Marcosia last year. No, sorry, it was earlier this year. Time flies when you're doing crowdfunding campaigns. So this property has a publisher. They have the first right to publish. So that's why the book is titled Listen. It's basically introducing the mystery for the second book. So what you're going to get is you're going to get a 14-page introduction. It's got a full murder mystery from start to finish. And then it's going to basically set up the events of the second book. To just kind of get the ball rolling, get you curious, find out what it's, what the world is like and what it's all about. The mystery early in the book is there is a famous jazz pianist named Fat Black Max, and they're in the recording studio, and he just keels over dead. So we got 14 pages to solve the mystery and then set up the overarching mystery in NOIRLEM 2.
Nice. So this is like issue 1.5?
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. Nice. And this is a black and white?
The Ashcan, I'm really going back and forth now. I think when the campaign is over, I might host a poll because, man, I got to tell you, the colors are just gorgeous. And I know I promised a black and white book, but I think I'm just going to see what people, if they would be okay with it being in color or if they really want it in black and white and kind of gauge the audience a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. So tell us a bit about this world that you've built. Tell us a bit about issue 1 where we were. You kind of just told us a little bit about issue 1.5 and then where we're going to head on to in issue 2.
So NOIRLEM, I mentioned before, is a portmanteau of noir and Harlem. like a lot of series, the first book is a lot of introducing the characters. And what the world is all about is essentially our view of the 1920s in fiction is oftentimes kind of glitzy and glamorous in the roaring 20s. NOIRLEM is a world that's more about the kind of, I don't even know what you would call it, like the underbelly, right? So a lot of the poorer neighborhoods, a little bit more of a working class kind of perspective. And so, yeah, I just don't see a lot done with the 1920s in Harlem. And I really wanted to start, practicing my craft at telling a compelling murder mystery, with a satisfying conclusion, while having a kind of continuing overarching character study for the people involved. So the main character of the book is a guy by the name of Coleman Carmichael. He's just a guy that lives in Harlem. He's a tutor. He's a teacher. He does odd things to get by. But when a murder happens in his own apartment building, he kind of discovers that he has this ability for deductive reasoning, and combining that skill with, I guess what you would call street smarts, he really is just a kind of natural detective. So the first book is really him working with a rookie police detective named Jay Baldwin to solve this serial killer, murder mystery. And they kind of develop this dynamic where it's kind of like an early buddy cop, only Coleman is just kind of street smart, and the police officer Baldwin is just kind of naive. He's kind of green. He's a rookie, so they kind of end up teaching each other and riffing on each other, and at a certain point they come to blows with one another, and it really sets up a kind of fun dynamic to play off of in the world.
Oh, that's really cool, man. So how many issues are you going with this series?
I'm writing these. I don't know if this has any kind of frame of reference for anybody, but the BBC at any point in time in their history has had like 20 murder mysteries on air at the same time. So like Father Brown, and it's just endless. And I really wrote these to be the kind of thing where it's like a mystery of the week that needs to be solved. So it's something I can keep going back to and keep exploring, theoretically forever.
So each episode or each issue is like its own thing, right? So like it's
there's no cliffhangers. The first book, there was a serial killer that was, and it's all very inspired by actual historical events. So first serial killer in the first book was inspired by this guy who became like the godfather of like influencing public opinion. So he was working with ad agencies, and later he worked for the CIA to basically orchestrate a coup in South American countries to overthrow their government. And I kind of took that real life figure and I thought, what if there was a serial killer that was using murder to influence public opinion? So that was the story in the first book, which there's a link on there to get at Barnes & Noble. The second book is going to be about, there's this really famous photograph called The Most Beautiful Suicide, where this woman fell from she jumped from the Empire State Building and landed on a car, and she died, but she looked like an angel. It looked like you look at this picture and it looks like there's nothing wrong with her at all. She's just kind of like laid there like this. And so it's a really famous photograph, and I basically wanted to tell that story, not of a suicide, but this mysterious angelic figure and what her real story could have been.
That's cool, man. You got a lot of stuff in the works.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, everyone, check out the campaign for Listen. It's live up on Fund My Comic. There is 12 days to go. It's going to go into the storefront, and you can check that in the link below in the description. It's also been posted in the live chat. Thank you, Herrenberg, for getting those live chats. And I also just want to shout out to Ashton, who just popped in, who's our third guest tonight. Welcome. Oh, if he's there. Oh, he's frozen. Here, let's try this.
Yeah.
Ashton, you with
There
us?
you go.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. I'm
No
so
worries.
sorry.
No worries. Just letting everyone know that you're on, and you'll be joining us tonight. So we were just checking out with Raiden Radio's campaign here, Listen, which looks amazing. Again, everyone, just check out those links below. And again, with all the campaigns you see tonight, as you always see on Crowdfunding Comics, grab those links, share them. Just help out the creators, share on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever you're using, Threads, get those links out there. But Raiden Man, thanks so much for showing us this campaign. Looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks
Looks
great.
awesome, dude.
I do have to add, on the first
Yeah.
campaign, I did a promotional thing where I had these gold Zippos made, like actual Zippos with the logo on it. I have a few left, and there is only one on the campaign. Only one has been unclaimed. So if you want to have a really cool gold detective Zippo lighter, be the person to grab it, and you got the last one.
Yes, so we're promoting underage smoking, everyone. So get that Zippo. Get
No.
it right away.
You could
Right
get
away.
you could get tied to a chair, and you got a way out.
There you go. No, that's cool. And I hope you hang out while we check out these other
Yeah.
campaigns tonight. All right, Caleb, let's check out what you got. Another great series from Caleb Thusat. I've been a backer of this, and I'm going to back this one too because I've got issues 1 through 3. I've got to get the 4th.
Like, yeah, this is my favorite one yet. So
Awesome. Well, let me do this. Let's play the video, and then we'll dive into it.
all right, for sure.
Yes.
Cool.
I like that music, man. It was like an awesome NES game loading up.
Oh yeah, it's all about nostalgia in this series, man.
I like the font. I like the font for the Neverland title.
Thanks. Yeah, that's Marcelo. He's the artist of the interiors. He does crazy cool titles for the books. Like he did one for the Nook series that we did a while back, and it was just outstanding. So he's kind of my go-to guy for that. But yeah, this is totally a love letter to 80s fantasy movies that I grew up with, the dark 80s fantasy stuff that has depth to it that kids don't understand until they're older. But I kind of wanted to write something for a new generation. So it's a kid growing up during a global pandemic, and his mother falls ill, and he kind of escapes to Neverland one night. He's always told the Peter Pan story, and escapes to Neverland one night and finds that the magic is all lost from the island. And he kind of goes on this epic quest with all these characters you're going to recognize from the old book and all the other media that created Peter Pan. And he kind of has to go on this search for Peter Pan and what happened to the island since the original novel. So it's a standalone sequel to the original novel. It's darker than the Peter Pan that most people are familiar with, but it definitely is going to kind of show you what happened during that original novel and what happened between then and now. So I tried to make something that my kids can appreciate the way I appreciate something like Labyrinth and The Neverending Story and Willow and these fantasy movies that are on the surface are just great, fun, epic stories, but they also have a lot more depth and subtext underneath. And when they get older, they can look back on it and be like, "Oh, I didn't catch all this stuff going on before." So every issue we do a cool homage cover variant. We got Neverending Story, Willow, Kroll, and the new one is Labyrinth, which just came out. That's the Labyrinth cover is probably my favorite thing that's come out of the series, and I honestly say that every time I see one of these homage covers. But Daniel Hill, he's kind of new to doing comic covers. I know him through the girl that does the Super Cat series with me. He's a good friend of hers, and he just kind of blew me away with this piece. So I'm excited to see that in print. So
very cool, man. So you're on issue 4. How far are you going with this series? How many issues is this?
So this is 5. So the next one's the end. This is kind of like one of the big defining moments in the series with 4, and it's just full of awesome action. Man, you got this crazy crocodile monster that's been brought back from the grave, and it's like got these great dark fantasy elements to it. The Tinkerbell is like the shadow of the old Tinkerbell, so you get like this dark elf feel to it. Adam Fields, great artist, and who's actually a neighbor of mine now, essentially lives right around the corner from me. He's did a sticker and an art print. Howie, I met him through you. He's been doing pinups for every issue.
Howie,
so you have we have a 4 pinup series. You can pick up the old ones too during this campaign, and they collect all together, and they just look fantastic together. You can see he's made it so that they all had the individuality, but they all combine. And then we're going to have a last one for the final issue that's going to kind of tie everything together. It's just, he's fantastic. He's been doing stuff for Ryan Adams and the Pixies for gig tour posters and stuff now. I was like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's been working on Dick Tracy stuff. That I hope that comes. I hope he could take over Dick Tracy. That'd be awesome.
That's the stuff that made me want him to do this, because his pop art is just fantastic, man.
It's really good art too. Like it's really good. I love the shading of the water. Very nice.
Thanks. Yeah, Marcelo is a great artist, and then we have Robert Nugent, who actually just signed on to do Spawn Kills Spawn. So he's like taking off right now. He's going to be the coloring the Spawn Kills Spawn books, and he does Neverland, and he's done a couple other books with me. But man, his colors are just on another level. So
hurry up and finish before you lose them.
I know, when he announced that,
once he gets on Spawn,
I was like, so
that's it.
Are you gonna like still do the rest of the series? And he's like, don't worry. I'm still I signed on to do this, so he's not going anywhere. I got him for at least a couple more issues.
Nice. And I love how you put in your campaign like the inspirations, like the nostalgia points, like where you were taking bits and pieces from. You got the movie posters here, right? We've got the Tolkien, which is great.
Yeah,
What's fun is, you got Peter Pan, and like all I'm thinking is, we got on Thursday, we've got Bill Willingham coming on, and he just did Fables. He made Public Domain in a big kind of FU to DC Comics. So, if that's all true, I mean, wow, man, you got a whole nother gamut of public domain you could use.
One of the amazing things about Peter Pan is that Barry left the rights in public domain. Like, he wanted people to take those characters and make stories for more generations with them. And that's basically what I took from it. I was like, that when I read the original novel for myself for the first time during the pandemic, I was like, there's something to be told during this time for kids. So I just took it upon myself to go ahead and dive in and make this big epic series. So
yeah.
Now let's get it animated.
Exactly, right?
I've
let's get it animated.
Multiple people approach me about that. I'm talking with somebody that in Australia that wants to pursue that. So we'll see. Maybe that would be an amazing thing.
That would be really cool, man. Get this thing animated. But you got so you got so many tiers here, by the way. So I mean, we start off. You have digital tiers for this, right? You have the digital issue 4 digital
Make
for
it
$3.
cheap and easy for people
Yeah,
who want to go digital.
you got you know, the whole 1 through 4 digital pack for $12, right? The actual physical copy of issue 4 for $10. I mean,
The
your
nice thing
prices
about
are great.
the nice thing about that $10 tier is that you're guaranteed if we fund that you're going to get the Howie Knoll pinup
Hmm.
thrown in there and the Adam Fields Shadow Tank sticker just for us hitting our goal. So for $10, you get all that stuff without even us actually having to hit any real stretch goals. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Your variant cover is also at $10 for the Labyrinth variant cover, which is great. You get both for 17. Official cover catch up, $35. Your tier levels are awesome. Price wise are freaking awesome in what they're getting. And I backed a lot of your campaigns and I can attest to the quality of what you put out there. So it's not, you're not getting cheap books
I
or
try to make the
anything.
bundles worth it. I don't know if that hurts me. I mean, I'm only 50% funded with 2 weeks, but like
Hmm.
I tend to swing back with that last couple weeks with all these. Like I've done so many now that I know like this is my 22nd campaign. So like
Yeah.
I know how it ebbs and flows, and if you can
Mhm.
break through 30% by the first week, you're usually pretty good. I'm at
Definitely.
50, so I'm sitting in a good spot. You can get on here and get everything that I've done for like a crazy price.
I see
So
that right
I
here.
mean that comes with the Source Point Press edition of Nook, which is a fantastic different cover that they did,
Hmm.
and my new Strange Stories anthology book that's all short stories with a bunch of different artists that I did. Kind of a throwback to Weird Tales that you get in that one. And then, you know, Alter Life, Flytrap, Crazy Time Travel Stories. But that's everything, all the issues. I try to make it so that if you're going to actually buy in at this point, like you're going to get a couple books for free, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's a great tier to catch up on what you've done. Now you've got here Sketchy Producer, 275. What's that
yeah,
one about?
so you get I always throw something in there so you get your name in the book as a producer of the book, and then you're going to get a sketch cover done by Marcelo, who does all the official covers and interior art. Just like that, there you get to choose the character and whatever you want them to be doing for the cover, but he's going to do a custom cover for you, sketch cover style. But you can also pick up, I have 5 separately as add-ons as well. So if you want to just buy issue 4 and get a sketch cover thrown in as a bonus, it's going to cost you only like a significantly less amount of money. It's like $75 or something. He's only doing a very few number of those because he's also busy finishing the book right now. So I'm like, I don't want to overwork you, but it would be awesome if we had something cool and different. I mean, we haven't done sketch covers for his books before, but he was all about it. So
You don't want to underwork them, but you don't want to overwork them.
he's I got him to the point now that he's working on a bunch of other books for other people too, because he's kind of built it up with Nook and everything. He's little more notoriety. So I'm not the only guy anymore. Before I was like the only guy he's working with. So it's like, how much can I get out of you without you running away? So, but you can pick up Strange Stories for $10. You can pick up the other posters, $5 a piece. Everything's fairly good price.
Nice.
I try to keep it reasonable because I know, especially in these times, everything's friggin' expensive. So,
Yeah, that's the truth.
Oh yeah. So awesome. So everyone, you can check it out. Check out the campaign. There's a great menu here, selections, a breakdown of all the tiers, add-ons that you guys can check out. And so are we thinking next year we're going to get the final issue?
we will definitely get the final issue. I don't know if it'll be February or March, but that's around when we're aiming to launch that. Just going to try to cap it off. I'm really excited because honestly, like the final 2 issues of this just are like my favorite things I've ever written. So to finally get people to see them and see what they think, I can't wait. So
Are you bundling 5 and 6 in the last campaign, or are you going to keep
no,
them
it's just
separate?
5. There's only 5.
Oh, there's only
total.
5. Why do I
So,
keep
yeah.
thinking there's 6? What is wrong with me?
Yeah, I just did like a 5-issue arc, so it ends up being essentially like 120 to 30 page, 130 pages total. But you know, you gotta break it down. I would love to just go and do this as one big book, but you know, it's extremely expensive to do it that way. So we break it down and make it fun and episodic and good cliffhangers and make you want to come back. So,
well, if you get a publisher to pick it up, maybe they can, you know, put it all into a trade paperback.
That's the hope, right? That's the hope.
Yeah. Are you still dealing with Scout?
I have Super Cats is actually hitting Simon & Schuster distribution nationwide on October 3rd. So you can actually pre-order my kids series through any retailer right now, like Target, Barnes & Noble, everything. So I'm dealing with Scout and they're going through Simon & Schuster, and that's going to be like where you can get it anywhere next month. And then Source Point still churning out some of those trade paperbacks for me of Nook. So a couple things published, but this is kind of, you know, in limbo until we finish it, I think. So we'll see what happens. But
very cool.
I'm sure someone's going to want to pick this up, especially when we have the full package.
Oh, no doubt. I believe it. And again, everyone, this is bringing you up to issues 1 through 4. You can catch up if you're already like me and you have issues 1 through 3 already. You can just get your issue 4. But check out the campaign. There's 13 days to go. We're about 50% funded. So check out the campaign. If funds are tight, just do what we always say, and that's share, share, share. Copy that link in the description. Paste it in your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Threads, whatever you're doing. Or if you want to highlight a cool campaign, any of these campaigns tonight, you know, do it on your YouTube channel or wherever you're streaming live. But definitely help support the indie community here. And Caleb, man, this is cool. Sad to see it's kind of coming to an end, but you know, it's cool because then you can, you know, move on to other endeavors.
It's bittersweet, but I have some darker stuff I want to work on and some more kids stuff that I haven't worked. So it's like it's been a long time working on this one. So I'm excited to kind of let it go in a sense and go into something a little darker. That's what I'm gonna be working on in the downtime this winter. So
very cool, man. Very cool. Well, you know, you're always welcome on with whatever campaigns you got going. But let's check out. Let's get Ashton up on the block. We've got Nexion #1.
Yes.
Very cool, man. On Indiegogo, you've got 11 days to go. You are funded, which is great. So what we're going to do first, Ash, is I'm going to play the video, and then we'll dive into it.
All right.
Hello, my name is Ashton Batiste. I'm the writer and creator of the comic Nexion. Nexion has been a passion project for me. For many years, I've been working really hard on this with my co-writer, Perry Logan. Nexion is the story of a young man named Richard Jones who discovers that his right arm has been replaced with an alien gauntlet. Now with these newfound abilities, he helps keep his city safe as the hero, Nexion. But there's a looming alien threat in his city, and he can't do it without you guys. He needs your help. So please help support the comic. I have many rewards. I have keychains, t-shirts, and stickers, but we need your help. We need your help to bring this comic to life. So please, if you could just support this, then we can have a great comic to read together.
All right. So let's get into this great comic, man, that we can read together here. Nexion #1. 52 pages, huh?
Yeah, I wanted to start like like they said, go big or go home. So I wanted to start off strong. This is like my first ever campaign, my first ever comic. I actually sent I think one of you guys another video that's kind of more trailer like in one of y'all messages. If y'all want to play that too, y'all can. Um, but yeah, I just want to start off strong.
Yeah, I got the video right here. You want me to play it?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see.
On the surface, Richard Jones is an average teenager with an uncertain future. But there's a secret hiding in his right arm that's anything but average. An alien gauntlet housing the AI entity Ion has replaced Richard's right arm. For the honor of the past and for the sake of the future, they must work together. Now, this unlikely duo fights foes of all sizes to keep their city safe. And as an ancient enemy stands on the edge of a bioweapon catastrophe, the biggest fight of their lives is about to begin. Join Richard and Ion as they tackle their biggest foe yet as the science fiction marvel Nexion. Back your copy today, only on Indiegogo.
There you go. Now that's a trailer. That was
Yeah.
cool. Very cool. Let's talk about the art. So, who's your artist?
The artist was Jim. I might pronounce this wrong. Valazela.
Valenzuela? Is that
Yes.
it here? Right here. Here we
Yes.
go. Valenzuela. Yes. Great interior artwork.
Yeah, he's
Incredible.
great. Jim's really good. We started talking, and he's very reasonable when it comes to the prices, and he's really good to work with too.
Mhm. Nice. So, how long have you been working on the idea of Nexion before you actually started producing the comic?
I would say about maybe like 4 years. It started really back in 2016. I didn't really have the title Nexion worked out yet. It was actually going to be called Bio's Legacy: The Future Within. And a lot of people kept telling me, oh, it's too much like X-Men. It's too much like X-Men. So I'm like, all right, fine. Let me just scrap it. So when I got off, like when I graduated, I was just sitting at home and I was just watching classic Ben 10. And then I told myself, I could do this. I could do something similar to this. So I called up my college buddy Perry and was like, hey, you want to write a comic together? And he was like, yeah, sure. So we started coming up with ideas, and I didn't want to get rid of everything from my original story. So what I did was I took what worked, I took what ideas worked, and then we started just building everything from there. This is our first ever comic book that we've ever done. And yeah, we just hit the ball running, started just coming up with ideas, seeing what stuck and seeing what didn't work. And here we are now.
Wow. It really is. I like the page. It's very well polished. So you had this like Ben 10 influence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with your character, is it fall in kind of that same realm where Ben 10 kind of had a menu and he could change into different beings based on his task in that episode?
So, not necessarily. So like how it works is that the gauntlet is kind of like it has different weapons. So you have like different modes. You have like blade mode, shield mode, buster, and then like smash.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want to give him everything at once. I kind of wanted it to be like, well, maybe he unlocks this at a crucial battle or a crucial moment.
Mm-hmm.
To make it feel more, even and more balanced, if that makes sense. The Ben 10 ideas literally came from like, cool villains, the aliens. But Ben 10 wasn't really my only influence. I was influenced by like Generator Rex, Nightwing, a couple animes that I've watched. Just, many different things really went into the creation of Nexion. Stuff like Witch. It's like an old show, but I use things like, okay, let me look at shows that maybe have like a great balance of social things. Stuff like Invincible, Those are kind of like my biggest inspirations when it comes to like writing. Gargoyles is another one. I especially looked at that a lot in terms of writing like my villains and my characters. I went back, watched the show, studied how things were written, studied how characters were portrayed, and I used a lot of that when writing my comic. I also looked at stuff in my personal life as well when it came to writing Nexion. I looked at a little bit of me, a little bit of my friends, family, and just the conversations that we had over the years to really, work on this story.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So tell us a bit about the aliens, because going through these pages here, I mean, it's a very dynamic. Character designs are very dynamic. We've got a lot of action things going on. So this symbiotic gauntlet, gets onto your main character. Are now this alien world coming to Earth? What do we have here in these panels?
So basically the story. All right. So this is like a chapter 0, a prelude,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes place on this planet called Solaris, where you have the king, which is named Orion, which is the guy with the blue, and you have Vexidus, who was a Solarian, but his people cast him out because of his ideals were wrong. The Solarians are like a peaceful race helping different races. Vexidus's whole thing was, well, we're all powerful. Why not conquer instead of like help? So him and Orion have been like friends. I kind of took some inspiration from like Optimus and Megatron in a sense, where like they're kind of like brothers in a sense, where Orion was like, look, you can't think like that. You can't do these things. We're supposed to help people. And Vexus is like, why should we? We're stronger than them. We're more capable. Why don't we rule them? So he was cast out, but before he left, he stole the gauntlet that you see him use and corrupted it. And he comes back and wages war on his planet and destroys it. And you would think like, oh well, he's dead, but a piece of him, just a small piece, survives within the gauntlet. And while it's like flying to Earth, it crashes. Some scientists discover it, and while it's being transported away, they kind of crash into a school. Richard finds it at a young age, and it kind of grafts it onto him. But the piece of Vexidus kind of escaped, and I kind of don't want to say more because it may spoil some things later. But that's really the gist of it. I mean, it was basically like a difference of ideals. I kind of thought about it like, well, people always disagree and things like this do happen. So why don't I play with that factor a bit?
Oh, very cool. I like that. So it's a bit of a mystery then. So we'll have to wait till the book comes out to find out what's going on. But you got the gauntlet here heading towards Earth. Very cool. I like that. So now this is your first crowdfunding campaign?
Yes, this is my first crowdfunding. This is my first ever comic book.
So what are your goals with this series? Have you mapped out X amount of issues? You're going to try to make it ongoing?
So my goal is it's an ongoing series, but I'm also trying to build a universe with this as well. I've always liked the idea of like, universes. There will be no multiverse. I like the idea of multiverses, but the problem with multiverses is that nothing really matters in that case. But I have thought about making this like a long running series. I've already got spinoffs, in the pipeline. I have about, I would say maybe 23 chapters of Nexion written. A good amount of it is already scripted and ready to go. But I really just want to build a universe with new characters, new ideas, for a new generation. Like, we'll always have Marvel, we'll always have DC, we'll always have Image, but I feel as though it's time for the indies to really rise again, like they did before. People, I've noticed, are getting tired of the mainstream, and I feel like it's our time to go, hey guys, if you want new superheroes like y'all claim that y'all want, well, here you go. You have a ton of new superheroes and new worlds and new comics to try out, and I want Nexion to be one of them. My overall goal, though, is to make an animated series. That is the number one goal. Because Nexion is a passion project of mine, and I've always told people to follow their passions. Everyone always goes, oh, well, this guy's got like a comic and he's rich and successful. I want to be like him. And I'm like, no, that's where you're wrong. You have to follow your passion. You have to do the work. You have to really take your time and map out. If you want to do a universe, you got to map it out. If you want to do maybe like a single issue or just a small little 4-issue comic, then do that too. But if you're planning on bigger goals, you got to really put forth the effort. And it may take a couple years, but nothing is ever done in a day. It does take time.
That's correct. You got to build it up. You got to start somewhere. Right. Exactly.
You got to start somewhere. And I applaud people like Eric Joai and Ethan Van Sciver and Scott Snyder and Kyle Higgins and all of them, because they really worked hard to get to where they are today, especially Eric Joai. ISOM, I know a lot of people have heard about it. It's a cool comic. It may not appeal to everybody, but at least he's doing something that is new and different and succeeding. And I don't understand why, us as creators have to hate on him. I hate to say this, but us nerds, we have become the bullies. It's sad, but it's sad. It's sad, but it's true. Like, as creators, we should be like that. We should really support each other. I'm not saying support like every single book, but people always say, oh, we want new Black stories, and oh, we want new characters, and oh, we want diversity, we want new LGBTQ and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, okay, well, we're giving it to you, but y'all aren't supporting us. And then when you have a guy like Eric Joai who has ISOM and making these new characters that you guys say that y'all wanted, y'all attack him because he's calling out the industry for what their failings are, or you're attacking him because, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but the proof is in the pudding with the numbers. So stop being bullies, stop being jerks, and just support the indies, man. Support the new visions, the new creators. You can still like Batman and Superman and Spider-Man, all of them. You can still like them because they'll be around forever. But eventually, got to support the new stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot out there in indies. That's why I like doing this show. It's it's hit or miss with views sometimes, but I gotta say, it's just doing whatever you can to get any type of extra eyes on these projects, because the next big IPs, the next big books, they're coming from indie. Indie is just growing. It really is. The mainstream industry is teetering. We all know it. Many pros have told me. It's just, where it actually falls, we're not 100% sure yet. But right now, even the pros are going with self-publishing and all that stuff. So it's you got to jump in and you got to try it. And with today's tech and everything you can do, I mean, honestly, it's a lot cheaper and easier to create your own comic book, any form of media, even movies. I mean, you could create a good movie pretty cheap. I mean, it could cost you a couple $100,000, but when we're talking $100 million budgets, it's, there's a lot that can be done in independent arts. And, that's it. You're on the right track and you focus on your IP, and it's better to own your own IP than to create the ideas for someone else.
And that's true. Like, case in point, I know this might be a side tangent, but I just want to say, I recently, backed the Common America Kickstarter. I read both the digital issues. That book is a prime example of what is right with indie comics. That book is amazing, from art, from visuals, storytelling, world building. Everything about that book is what I'm trying to express when it comes to indies. It's like, there you go. Like, I sent it to one of my friends and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's a cool indie comic. And the first thing he goes to is going, oh, this looks perverted. And I'm like, it's not. Just read it. You know, give things a chance. Like, I'm the type of person that, you ever heard the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, that's how I am. I don't like to judge things unless I give it a shot. You know, I like to try things. That's like when it comes to like shows I watch, I give it the 3-episode try. If I'm in, I'm in. If I'm not, then I'll not watch it. When it comes to books, I read a lot of stuff. I read comics, I read manga, I read webtoons, I read a ton of different things. And I always say, I like it. And people always go, well, Ashton, you like everything. It's not that I like everything. I just give everything a chance because you never know if it's going to be good or not if you don't try it.
That's true. That's true. There's a lot of TV shows that I'm like, first episode in, I'm like, yeah. Then I'm like, well, let's see.
Yeah.
Second episode. Then by like the third episode, though, it's kind of like the 3-episode rule. You're either going to get hooked or you're not.
Exactly.
And more than not, though, I'm the type of guy, though, like you know, there's not much I don't like. There's stuff I kind of get annoyed with where I'm like, that's not really, you know, canon with what this was originally about, but you know, it's not intolerable, or it's not some fandom is what is crazy out there.
Yes.
Once an opinion, like if Raiden has an opinion about Caleb and his fans get a hold of it and he has a bigger reach than, let's say, Caleb does, you know, his fans might go on the march without Raiden even saying do it. It's just they just grasp an opinion that's captured in a moment in time, and then they go full ham with it. And it's incredible what fandom does, but also fanatic and things. And it's great to have fans, but sometimes they become more passionate about your IP than the creators themselves. You know, and that can set off a whole different match.
It's sad, really. I mean, like I said, us nerds have become the bullies, and it's like, y'all don't need to harass people online. Y'all don't need to attack people online. I mean, case in point, like my adventures with Superman. I actually like the show. It's not that bad. It's a different take, yes, but there's things in there that are familiar enough to me that goes, okay, this is still Superman, but with a different take. And I feel like people have to be open to different takes on characters. But I also feel like if you're gonna do a different take, don't forget what made the character special. Zack Snyder. Don't forget what made the characters, you know, important and special. And stop, for the love of God, and people may hate me for this, stop changing characters based on what's going on in the world, and stop using phrases like for modern times or modern audiences, because that's what's ruining a lot of, you know, stuff today. They always want to go, hey, we're going to make this for modern audiences, or hey, we're going to change this existing character to black, or like this race or this sex or whatever, because it's a new take and all that. And I'm like, no, stop it. Stop doing that. Please stop doing that, because it's hurting you more than it's helping you. Just write a good story. Focus on the story first and then the characters, because no one's going to care about like your world if you don't have good characters. I'm sorry. It's just true. Like, why do you think anime and manga are so successful? Because they focus on their story before anything else, and then the characters come second. You know,
I have to say, speaking of manga, I have to say, One Piece live action series. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but that was that's how you like adapt something that was originally in print to screen. I mean, it was so on point. And what's funny about One Piece, I'll tell you, is I watched like 1 or 2 episodes years ago, and I didn't get into it. It wasn't my thing. So then I was bored, like last week, and it was like Friday night. I couldn't sleep, so I took out the iPad and I started watching. And I was like, this is really cool, and I binged it, right? And then now I'm watching. I was kind of questioning some of the casting. I'm like, I wonder if that's really how it was in the series. But no shit, it was on like all the casting I thought might have been for a modern audience, right? Right, Ashton?
Right,
Is
right,
actually how it was in the series. Like they
right.
made
No,
no
like
special changes, and they
no,
just
no,
put a
like yeah,
great story together. They casted it. The cast, I think, was amazing of who they pulled to play these characters. Because if you actually watch the anime version of it, right, um,
mhm.
everything blends, and it's like it's a harmonious transition of an adaptation. And I'm wondering if from Cowboy Bebop was a little off. I mean, I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it, but like if you really wanted to get that fandom going and the fanaticism of what was done, it was a little off. But if they learned a lesson from that, they did here. And I think we're gonna see, and I hope we see some more well, a lot of the manga has anime, there's usually both, right? Because it's they tie like their entertainment together. But I'd like to
Right.
see a lot more anime live action adaptations if they can keep that chemistry of what they did with One Piece, because it was just, I think it
Well,
was phenomenal.
well, here's the thing with that. So I'm happy you brought that up. One Piece, look, for a long time, One Piece has always been weird and goofy and all that. And I get it. I understand that's like why some people may not want to watch it. And it's also super long. I mean, you have longer anime, but that's nor here nor there. The thing about the live action though is that Oda, the creator, was directly involved with the production team, and that is the key into making something really good. You have to get the original creator into it, and you also have to be really passionate about like doing this. Don't just do it for money. Don't that's why all the live action stuff failed, because they're not passionate. They're like, oh, people know this IP. Let's put it out there. It's gonna make us some money. And then, and also learn how to take criticism too. Don't just be whining and complaining on like Twitter about how, oh, the fans are the reason why this didn't do good. No, 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 no. Don't blame them, because one, you guys didn't probably promote it right. Two, you guys didn't really, you could tell there's no passion in it. Like when I first saw the official teaser for One Piece, I was like, okay, I'm interested. I'm hooked. Like this actually looks really good. And then it finally came out. I watched it and I'm like, this is amazing. This is exactly how you do it. This is exactly how, and then, of course there's changes, but it's not bad. You could still tell, okay, this is Luffy, this is Zoro, this is Sanji, this is Usopp, this is Nami, that's Arlong, that's Buggy, that's Kuro, that's Mihawk. You can still recognize the characters. The characters are still recognizable. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta really be passionate about doing this. Don't just go in there and be like, all right, let's do it. Let's make some money. The nerds out there are gonna watch it because it's popular. So yeah, let's just put it out there. No, you gotta be passionate about it. You really have to. And that's the problem with Hollywood, is that like they make these things and go, all right, this is something. Let's put it out there. Let's promote it a bit. Let's kind of get it out there for people. Like look at okay, I'll say like the Marvel and DC movies. That's comic books. And they've been out for years, and look how people know who these people are now. It's our modern myths, It's like the Greeks, like people know this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even not the hardcore people, but you could go up to people now and be like, oh, who's like Iron Man? Oh, he's Tony Stark. Who's Black Panther? Oh, he's T'Challa. Like so many people know these characters. You could do the same thing with anime. You could do the same thing with manga. There's no reason why fans, mind you, with low budgets can actually do better than Hollywood. Oh, wait, there's a reason why. Because the people who are fans are actually fans, so they get it. They understand it. Don't, like I said, don't do, well, this is for all creators. don't do anything for money. Money will come. Money will come. Do it because you're passionate about it. Do it because, you know, you want to see not just your success, but that feeling of success. You know, don't just go into a project and go, all right, let's do this. Let's make some money like this person and that person. No, either you're passionate about what you're doing or just don't do it at all. Because if your heart's not in it and you're just looking for a quick buck, then you're not going to I'm sorry to say, but you're not going to get far.
Yeah, no, comics is an industry where they'll make hundreds of dollars.
I was going to say, there's no quick bucks in indie comics. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, people with those visions, that's like what Ashton's saying is if you don't truly have the passion for it, then you're just looking to, try to gain a quick buck, that's not the way to do it. You got to have passion about this stuff. You have to go into it knowing it's going to be a hustle. It's going to be a struggle, and it may take you 10 years to get where you want to be. You may have to work a day job, 2 day jobs. Like most of us in the indie community work day jobs. Some do work 2 day jobs and work on their books, and they get it all done. And we run on very little sleep. Very, very little sleep. It can catch up to you at times, but you got to know when to take those breaks and stuff. But Ashton, I like your energy. I like what you're doing. I agree with you 100% on the industry and things. And I want to dive back into your campaign because this is your first campaign. So I do want to talk about a bit of what you're offering.
Go for it.
I see you've got for $5, you got your digital version of Nexion. 17 pledge is going to give you your physical comic, which is very cool. Your $30 pledge is going to give you the physical and the digital version. And then your $50 pledge is going to give you physical, digital version of Nexion comic with a variant cover of your choice, which is great. And then you got a $100 physical pledge and digital version of Nexion comic with all variant covers. So how many variant covers do you have?
I just have 4.
Okay.
I just, I didn't know like how many to do, but I've had like great friends telling me, hey, don't overdo it. Remember, this is your first campaign. Start it off small, because you have to think about the cost. You got to think about like how much it is to print, all these things. I was like, all right, let me do 4. And I mean, I'm actually happy with like the covers. I mean, like I got one by the Zong Bros. I don't know if anybody knows who they are, but they are like, oh my God, they're amazing. Like they're amazing. My colorist did the second cover that you see there, and then the third cover. So I actually got it done by the guy who was the artist for X-Men Evolution. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. Then the last cover was done by the artist of the book. So yeah.
Nice. That's the way to go. And I think Raiden and Caleb can tell you, when you're starting off, don't go crazy. You don't need 20 variant covers. You don't need all this stuff. A few some good pieces, eye-catching pieces are what you want. And your variant covers look great. They look real good. And you got your sticker add-ons here, keychain add-on. You got your t-shirt. I like that shirt. That's very cool. And then let's see, you got posters. And then all rewards, digital and physical copies, all variant covers, 11 stickers, 11 keychains, 1 t-shirt, and poster. So that's for $150. You get all that?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very nice.
Now, just to let everyone know, it will take a while, of course, but the book is done. The book is done. It is ready to print. And the campaign ends around, I will say I will receive the campaign funds around October 6th. And the books should be out before Thanksgiving.
Oh, fantastic.
Everything else may come a little after, but I promise you this, and raising the hand up, that you will get everything that you subscribe to or back by you. You'll get everything. I promise you that.
I'm going to give you some advice really quick.
Okay. What's up?
Shipping costs. You're going to ship out two packages to everyone. So you may want to look at the lead times on all your tchotchkes, your t-shirts and stuff and what you have. And it'll probably be more beneficial so you don't lose your shirt to maybe push back. You know, if it's like, oh, I can have everything out by January, it might make more sense to send everything off in one shot than breaking it up, because you'd be surprised what the shipping costs.
Can I throw my 2 cents in there? I've done
Yeah.
22 campaigns. A lot of times there's delays in artwork, in shipping, in whatever. Just communicate with your backers. Is the
Oh
main
yeah,
thing.
always. No, of course.
It doesn't matter when it gets there, honestly. For most of the people that are backing these things, they know that it's going to take time. As long as it gets there, that's what matters, because if you can show that you deliver everything, then they'll be back for the next one.
So funny, funny that you say that. A lot of my backers are actually like basically from like around the areas that I live. So I could literally just go I could go to their house and be like, here you go. Like a lot of my backers like are from where I live. So that's also a good plus. And a lot of also like a lot of really did back like a lot of like the tiers. So like all the rewards. Some like I only have like a good amount of people. Excuse me. I only have a good amount of people who back that. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. I've already said that I'm going to order at least 250 books. So.
No, that's good. Yeah, overprint it so you have it. You know, if you can get into some small conventions and stuff. Another thing I like in your campaign is you have like the character reference sheets, you know, for character design. So it's showing off, you know, what your character looks like, you know, not in superhero mode, right?
Yes.
And then you got that here, and it's giving kind of a breakdown of some of the other characters in the book. You know, we got Sophia here, David McKnight, you know, Alexandra. You know, the Solarian Warriors, right? Orion. I like this. Ion, you know, Vexidus. I like how you break that out to really give people, you know, a visual of what these characters are going to look like in the book.
Oh yeah, no, like and if you want to discuss some of the designs and my inspirations from them, I can, you know, tell you about them. Those are just some like bios for the people who helped work on the stuff. There's links there if you want to click and, you know, they're all great. They're very hardworking people, and I'm really happy that they helped me with this book. But when it comes to the designs, like, so like Vexidus, I was like inspired by a little bit of Mass Effect. I was like playing Mass Effect at the time. I was like, well, what could I use from this that could kind of like work with it? But I was also inspired by like Voltron, Legendary Defender, with the designs of like God, what's his name? God, the main bad guy, not Lotor, his dad. I don't
know, the name escapes me.
Yeah, it escapes me too. But yeah, I took some inspiration from that when it came to designing Vexidus. And with Ion, I looked at a lot of like, I will say like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal with Astral's design with a little bit of like Tron influence with that one. Orion, I was like, well, let me look at some like kingly figures. And I looked at people like King Arthur. I was, you know, just different kings in history. And I was like, well, let me try to like give him that royal looking appearance.
Yeah. Very nice, man. And then you got the Solarian Warriors.
The Solarian Warriors, you know, same like Mass Effect, really. I was playing Mass Effect at the time. I was like, all right, let me look at some of the species and like how they look and how their armor would look. And like, I like a lot of like, I'm a big sci-fi guy, so I like a lot of energy weapons and like energy type things. So I looked at a lot of that too, different sci-fi images for stuff like that as well.
Very cool.
Alexandra, I looked at a lot of like, I looked at things like Superman the animated series for that. So like Mercy and Young Justice too, some of the female characters from that. And I was like, okay, I want to make her look like she's smart and intimidating, but also hot as well. Because, you know, it sucks to say this, but a lot of women nowadays in like media aren't really like hot or sexy. I feel like that's just like I feel like that's such a it's like that's frowned upon. I'm like, it shouldn't be frowned upon to have like hot, sexy women, especially like secretaries or business women. Like, you don't have to make them overly like, crazy, but just, make them look attractive, make them look like women.
Yeah. Now let's jump. Actually, I'm just for time's sake, let's jump to Nexion's costume and everything.
Okay.
I get a little Assassin's Creed vibe from it.
So Assassin's Creed was not like the look I was going for. It's funny. You're the first person to actually say that. A lot of people say Static Shock like right off the bat. I get Static and I get Blue Beetle a lot. Nexion's design, I took a lot of inspiration from stuff like Voltron, stuff like Power Rangers, different Star Wars, different like sci-fi elements. And I guess you could say a little bit of Static too, sprinkled in there. But I also looked for that cool factor, something that really stands out, something that makes him feel like his own character. That's kind of where I got the inspiration from, really. And I've always liked hoods on my character. I always felt like the hood motif was such a cool motif to kind of like use. Because I was like, look, if I'm doing this, I don't want him to have a cape. I have nothing against capes, but if you're going to be jumping around and fighting, people could easily just grab the cape and like swing you around. With a hood, it's like, oh, they could grab the hood and take the hood off, but you could still like swing and do other stuff. With the cape, it's like, oh, you can get the cape trapped to the conveyor belt, and then boom, everybody knows you're Batman because that's exactly what happened. You got the cape took, and then boom, Lois was like, oh, Bruce. So I'm like, well, there you go.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool, man. I like this. Your book looks great. Congratulations on your first campaign. You're funded. The sky's the limit now to keep on going. And everyone, again, the link is in the description below. The link has been posted in the live chat for everybody. Check out the campaign. Dive into all the campaigns tonight. We checked out Raiden Radio's Listen, which is live on Fund My Comic. We've got the Neverland 1 through 4 on Kickstarter. And we've got Nexion #1 on Indiegogo. So check out all these campaigns. Share these campaigns. If you like them, back them. Leave comments below. Let us know what you backed, what you liked, what you didn't like. And again, I want to thank Caleb, Raiden, and Ashton for coming on. These campaigns are awesome. You guys are always welcome on to talk about, anything new and upcoming that you have coming out, or if you want to hang out. And before we head out, I want everyone to know we're going to be doing another crowdfunding comics episode Wednesday. We've got Christy Shin in the house with her Demon Bitch book. I got Dionysus, I don't know how to pronounce it, on with the Tome of the Reckoning, and Pops Van Zant, if you're familiar with the Comic Madness Network or Madness Comic Network. They are crowdfunding to try to get their Roku channel up and running. So we're going to have them on. And then Thursday night live, myself and Billy Tucci will be chatting with Bill Willingham, who's been all over the headlines with bringing fables to the public domain. So that should be a fun interview, to say the least. But again, Caleb, Ashton, Raiden, thank you guys so much. Your books look amazing. Campaigns look great. Keep on crowdfunding. And everyone out there, back some great books. All right, let's keep growing this indie community.
Hey, thank you guys for allowing me to be on this stream. I would love to come back again and just talk about anything Nexion related or just comics related. You guys are awesome, and we need more. We need more things like this. We need more support. Remember, everyone, I'm just going to say this and I'm going to head out. Follow your passions. Don't be discouraged. Keep doing what you love. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Don't let your family, friends. If you have a vision, don't let, like Stan Lee said, don't let no idiot tell you that you can't achieve that vision. Come on, guys. Like, the sky's the limit. Let's do this.
Exactly. Let's do it. All right, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you all Wednesday.
All right.
Thanks again, guys.
Yeah, Nile. Thanks.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.